Is your relationship going through a rough patch? Are you thinking of divorce or worry about what others will say? Would you like to have more support but don't know who to choose? Well, if you're in that space, then the help is here because I'm talking to a divorce coach, Varsha Hathi, and today she is my special guest. But let me welcome you to Chit Chat and Shy with Sangeeta. Hi, Varsha, how are you?
Hey, how are you? Here's my cup of tea. By
Well,
the way, I love my masala tea. So, yeah,
absolutely. How do you make it? What do you put in?
I make my masala at home actually. So, I buy all the dry ingredients from VB and mix everything together. I've got a recipe and I don't like any other masala except my homemade masala.
Absolutely wonderful. I remember growing up, I used to hate masala chai, but the only thing I remember having, my mom used to put elaichi, cardamom
Yeah,
every time. But
yeah.
then when I grew older, I thought, okay, I remember going to somebody's house and having a ginger tea. And they said it's very good for your throat and all that. Because when I was growing up, I was doing singing. So I'm trained as a singer. So they said,
Oh, wow.
you have to have, ginger tea. So I can't have it every day, but I'll try it.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
so I remember, especially when we had singing competitions or if I have to perform somewhere. So for 2, 3 days, I used to have ginger tea to keep my vocal cords
I
in.
love ginger tea. I love ginger tea and I love the fresh green tea. You know, you get the
Yes.
leaves and you cook it, and sometimes even mint in my tea. So it tastes
Wow.
lovely. So, yeah,
Amazing. Amazing. So we were
tea,
thinking
you
about
can't go wrong.
the nashta. I don't have anything. I just made tea today.
No, me too. It's just tea. So, cheers to you with
Yes,
the
to you
teacup.
as well. And welcome to our show. The questions I was asking about relationships and divorce, I think the word itself has such a stigma, had such a heaviness, when we talk about it. And so often we shy away from it sometimes, especially in our Asian culture. So first, before we even dive deep into that conversation, I want to know a little bit about your background so our listeners can connect with you and your story. So tell us what's your story and why you became a divorce coach.
So basically, Sangeeta, I wouldn't proudly say that I'm divorced twice, but I strongly say it because I want people to recognize that it's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong of being divorced. Maybe the partner was not right for you, and there's nothing wrong with you. Could be a nice person, your partner could be a nice person, but maybe you just didn't, things went wrong. So for me, the first marriage, I was married very young at 21 in Kenya, and that didn't work out very quickly. There were major issues. I won't go into that. The second marriage is the one I'll tell you a little bit about. I was married for 18 years. I've got 2 beautiful children from there. Unfortunately, as much as I loved him and he loved me, alcohol took over. And it took over our lives, our family lives, and everything. And so we almost reached a point where there was no choice but to get out of that marriage. We tried everything, rehabs and everything, and so there was no choice but to get out of that. And when I went through that, I was not working because my younger daughter has got a medical problem, so it was very hard to find support, who to turn to, who to go and ask, because finances were tight at the moment and it was a big struggle. So at that time I thought, I really, if I come out of this space here, I want to go and support and help women who are in a similar position. They don't know where to turn to. Lots of women don't even handle their finances, so they don't even know where to go and look for the paperwork. And when you're going through divorce, these are crucial things you need to know about. And so if they don't know, that's why I support the women, to help with the childcare things and the finances and whatnot. So when I went through that, I really felt that need, that there's no, it wasn't there. Like going to gingerbread men as well, they told me you're not physically abused, so we can't really help you.
Yeah.
So for me, I had emotional abuse, mental abuse, financial abuse. So that's where I thought I want to do something about it. And that's when I started looking for ways to become a divorce coach. I didn't even know the word divorce coach existed until I started doing my research on how to help people, start my personal development journey. And I realized, oh wow, there's something like a divorce coach who supports you and holds your hand, who is your best friend, but an unbiased person who will guide you through your whole divorce journey. And I don't know if people know what a divorce coach does, because the first thing you think of is a family solicitor.
Sure.
uh, but there's so many other things you can do with the divorce coach, that maybe you're not even sure that you want a divorce, so you can go
Yeah.
to a divorce coach. And if maybe there's ways to support your marriage and for not to go for divorce, a divorce coach can actually give you techniques to go and try and resolve your marriage. I've got a client at the moment, and we're trying to get her back to her husband, and hopefully things work out. And that will be a great testimonial for me that I've worked the other way, not just for divorce, because I don't advocate divorce, but what I do advocate is don't stay in a toxic relationship, and try and come out of it, because it affects you, it affects the children. So yeah, hence I became a divorce coach.
How beautiful, because you said, because your aim is not for people to say yes, you need it and you should go for it. You coach them, you try, and our first instinct is always we should still try to work things out. That's the whole basis of it. But as you beautifully said, that doesn't mean that you should stay in a toxic situation, even when you're having mental abuse, emotional abuse, and physical abuse. It's a lot. But tell me, being an Asian and going through that second time, how hard was it for you to even think about that, even no matter what was going on in your marriage? Because our culture do have, such a strong hold on us, isn't it?
Sangeeta, I can't even tell you how hard it is to make these decisions, because coming from a strict family myself from Kenya, even the first time when I got divorced, it was not even heard of in Kenya.
Wow.
But you have a choice. You
Hmm.
listen to your culture and you remain in that marriage and it kills you, or which I was almost suicidal in both the times of the marriages, where I almost reached the tipping point, and I thought, okay, there's a choice here. I either go downhill and spiral downhill with depression, and I had counseling in my second marriage and everything, or I have a choice. My life is in my control and I can come out of this marriage. People talk about you, people create judgments, you start feeling guilty. Your family will judge you. They will, like my dad for the second marriage, he said that there's no physical abuse, so I don't see a reason why you need to go for a divorce, because he's just sitting there quietly drinking away.
Hmm.
So the parents really don't understand where the daughter's coming from sometimes, because it's a different generation.
Yeah.
And because we women have started working, we know that we can manage. In the olden days, even women, if they suffered all this, because they didn't have the financial backing, it was very tough for them to make the decision of coming out and going for a divorce. But in this day and age, yes, there will be people who talk about you, yes, there's a culture stigma, but at the end of the day, when you're going through these problems, who comes and holds your hand, who comes and puts that food on your table? It's not the society, it's not the community, it's you.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's very hard to face the community, and yeah, it's tough, but there are people like me who will support and help you to talk to your family that you want to go through divorce, on how to talk to your children, even because they might think you're not doing the right thing, because they always want the parents to be together. You have to face the whole world, and the Asian community, oh my, yes, it's a big tough one there. But let's break away from that stigma of divorce. There's
Yeah.
nothing wrong with it. I also even asked a question, that if there was a guy out there and there was a woman who was divorced and she had kids, would they even think of ever getting divorced to this woman? Because they will judge her straight away. They won't even think, oh my God, let's look at her, let's see if she's got the personality I'm looking for, or this is the woman I love, or whatever. As soon as you hear the word divorce, people don't want to know you and they start judging you. you
Yeah.
know there is a lot of stigma.
There is, I think, and that's the whole purpose of me starting this show, that we will talk about these things, because you know what, it's it's high time that we stop brushing these carpets, under the carpet, under the rug, and not talking about it. We are shying away from talking about it because log kya kahenge. I think we live with that
Oh
kind of
God.
thing. Log kya kahenge. But you know, um, tell me about it. You have gone through twice that difficulty. Like first one was very quick, you said, and second one, because when you're living with the person, and yes, you try to get help, you try to get counseling, you got beautiful kids. What is the biggest challenge in that time, when you're thinking, your mind is thinking, I can't live like that anymore, and yet you see the person, okay, they are okay person, they are not like your father said, there's no physical abuse, their kids involved. What is the biggest challenge for a woman thinking about going through that phase?
First of all, I think the biggest challenge in itself is making that decision of the word divorce. When it comes to your mind, you already know that things wrong in your marriage for that word to even enter your mind. And I remember so many times me telling my ex, I want to divorce, but it was just, the thought process had started in my mind and it came out verbally. The challenges you face is that, for me especially, I was not working, so obviously finances is something you have to think about. Children, you think, oh my god, I want to make sure that the child is living with the dad and the mom. You want a family package, don't you? Because you think, if I go out of this, then you feel that they will not receive love from both of you, but actually, that could even become stronger, because if you're in a toxic relationship, it emotionally damages the children. So the first challenge is accepting that you are not in a great marriage and you need to get out of it. And finding that strength, it takes a lot of strength and a lot of guts to come out of a marriage and face the society. But you know what? We all have to do it together. We have to hold our hands and come out of these places where we are being abused in different ways, whether it's addiction, adultery, or you're just not happy together. You're just living a mundane life, and life is short. You have one life only, so why are you living in this space where you're not happy? So the challenges you face is finding a support team, for instance. You think maybe your family is a support team, but sometimes they're very biased and they could maybe guide you in the wrong direction. So it's finding the right support team. Do you have your friends in place? Do you have your family solicitor? Do you have a divorce coach in place who can guide you and support you? And most of the work a divorce coach can do with you before you even go to the solicitor. Even when, like I said, before you've even thought of should I have a divorce or not, they can help you. And all the way to, okay, I finished my divorce and maybe I want to go dating. That's another line of it. But the challenges is, again, finding that support, finding a right solicitor, getting all your paperwork together, making sure you're telling the children together in an amicable way, so you're telling them appropriately to their age. And also discussing with your partner what you're going to do, where you're going to live, the challenge of where am I going to live? Am I going to live in the matrimonial home, or have you faced too much abuse to even think, oh, I can't live in here, what shall I do, or where to go and live? So these are the different challenges, and there's a lot of overwhelm and a lot of thought process. You go through a roller coaster of emotions, you're in denial, you're angry, you're upset, and then you're grieving. So many different things you think about. There's so many different challenges.
Wow. I mean, whatever you're talking about, and I was actually picking up all those emotions even when you were talking about that. There's a grief, there is stress, there's trauma, there is like how to handle kids, and what to say. But a woman and a man, we're not just saying just for a woman.
No.
All of us can go through different kind of emotions. And in that time, we go through a biggest stress, I want to ask from you how you dealt with that stress when you were going through all these different emotions. And I understand sometimes parents are not there for us because they are imposing their beliefs and they're imposing what is right for us or not, when because they're not in our shoes. And especially for our past generation, they have a different way of dealing with that. Like you said, women sometimes are not financially stable, and our mothers will say, what, I tolerated so much of your dad's stuff, and why can't you tolerate?
Of course, you have all that as well.
Dialogues come to you and you think, oh my God, that's the last thing I want, is why can't my parents understand me? Why is that they have to stand up for somebody else and the whole world but me? So how do you, how have you dealt with the stress? What did you do?
It is very stressful. I will never deny that. Divorce is very stressful. You're very anxious because you've got so much to think about and you go through so many different emotions. So I can never say that it's not stressful. What I found at that time was that, yes, counseling did help me for the time I was there. So when I'm with the counselor, it helps you to deal with the emotion. But you come home and nothing has disappeared. You're still in that same space. So if I had another Varsha who existed at that time, a divorce coach, they would not only have helped me deal with the emotions, they would have helped me move forward. So the way I dealt with my stress at that time was I would go counseling. I used to go for a lot of coffees with my friend. One particular friend is finding that me time. So you need to just de-burden somewhere. So you're going to whatever with your best friend or your mom or your dad, whoever is going to listen to you, and just listen, because sometimes you just want somebody to listen to you because there's no solution. They might not give you the answer to it because you're living this life. And I remember my sisters almost got tired of me mentioning my husband, and they said, "Oh my God, Varsha, we're tired of you listening to his name." But I think just talking to your family and just going for coffee with my friend, and I talk to her and talk to her, and even at 12 o'clock at night, and I'll be crying. And it's okay to cry, it's okay to be emotional. There are lots of things you have to take care of, like we say, the finances and everything. And I think just a bit of yoga helped me. Yoga really helped me, because you're actually sort of calming down your mind and your body and everything, and you're not thinking about all these things. So it's just having that space to not think about it. So just what I tell my clients is that when you're going through divorce and you want to talk about your partner, give yourself that 1 hour or 2 hours in a day. And then don't talk about your partner, because if you're talking about your partner the whole day and you're talking about, oh, he done this or you done this, you're giving that energy to that person, and you're not giving yourself enough energy to start moving forward or doing what you have to do. So I think even going for a walk helped me a lot, and listening to music, just not sad music, just a bit of upbeat music, sort of listening to it. And that time I wasn't into dancing, but now I actually feel that dancing would have helped, just putting on that loud music and dancing away. So any little things which you sort of enjoyed, and maybe, finding those things which you enjoyed, but even going for a walk, sitting out in the nature, just talking to your friends, I think it helps a lot.
Wow, that's amazing. And it's
Yeah.
about finding that time, me time, finding a little bit of joy, because sometimes when, especially when relationships are breaking down, there's a lot of energetic, pulling and pushing, and that can drain you as well. But we forget that, yes, this is one aspect of our life. I always say to my clients when I'm coaching that, your life is not all about that relationship.
No.
Your life is so much more than that. Your life is all about you, about your kids, about what you do, what you're not doing. So you said it so beautifully that, okay, choose a time, choose like an hour or 2 hour when you want to moan, when you want to complain, when you want to let out all the steam, and then
Yes.
focus on yourself and saying, how can I manage this energy, because I have a lot to do. And I think that's another thing, part of, and why we are saying women, because we both are women and we understand, and we are from the same culture, that we end up taking so much on our shoulder, isn't it? That it's my job to do this, it's I have to find this, I have to do that, because I have made that decision to take that step as well. Why it is important to think about yourself and saying, what, how about I find somebody to share that burden, or to find like a divorce coach, like a friend, or even talk to somebody who will understand us, because otherwise we'll feel that burden and we won't be able to move forward, isn't it?
You can't move forward if you're just going to keep it within yourself. There's no way you can move forward. You need to be able to go and talk to the person, even if the person hasn't been through a divorce, for instance. Yeah, I mean, if somebody's been through divorce, that's even excellent, because they know your feelings, they know your emotions, so it's a better solution. But even somebody who's not been through divorce, who's not going to judge you when you're just talking, they're just going to listen to you. So this friend of mine was God sent, and I can't even tell you, she'd just listen any time of the day, and she'd hear me crying and telling her the same story over and over again. I'm surprised she never told me to shut up, because you want to keep on repeating your story, and you think you're going to find a solution from there. And before even I filed for divorce, all my friends, family, they had told me that we would not have been in the same position. We would have divorced long time ago. We would have moved on long time ago. But you yourself need to be ready. And if you're not ready, everybody else can tell you. Even my counselor told me, but if you're not ready, you're not going to move on. And to be ready, you just need to think, okay, what are the negatives or positives of this marriage? Is there anything I can sort out in this marriage before I walk away without regret? You don't want to walk away and feel regret after that. So you need to have tried everything. And if you have tried everything, there's no regret, there is no way you're going to regret and no way you're going to feel guilty walking out of a relationship, because I definitely tried everything in my power to sort my marriage out, you know. So those are the things you need to think, okay. And toxic relationships, physical abuse, you need to definitely walk away from those, you know.
Straight away. You don't need to even think about those things.
Yeah.
Amazing, amazing. And I think in this series, we will definitely talk more about the stigma, talk more about how to move on, what to do, and we will definitely get more tips from you as well for somebody who is going through a difficult time. Because I feel there's a beautiful quote I want to read. It says, a great relationship is about two things. First, appreciating the similarities, and second, respecting the differences. And you know what, we all try to do it, and yes, we are not perfect, nor is our
No.
partner perfect, nor is life perfect, but what we all need to do is try our best. And if it's not working, which I remember there was a piece was going on BBC, I think last year or something, and they asked me to talk about it, and they said, how do you see marriage? And I said, for me, marriage is all about like a bicycle. There's two wheels. So if one wheel is punctured, yes, the front wheel can drag it for a little longer. But if
Yes.
it's not going to work, then the front wheel is going to give up as well. So it's all about balancing. In a
Yes.
marriage, both partners needs to give equal, and it's never about 50-50. It could be sometimes 60-40, it could be 70-30, but it needs to have that flow, that both
Yes.
partners are giving equal,
Yes.
both partners are putting emotional effort together.
Yeah.
I have seen that, and that's my personal experience, that in our, again, Asian culture, we put so much pressure on our women. If it is not working out, the marriage, the society and even our parents put so much pressure on women and saying, well, you should have worked better, or you should have tried more, or you should do that. Did you find that, or is that just my experience?
I am laughing. I'm laughing because my client, who I'm trying to get her back to her husband, she's actually asked me this question. She's saying, Varsha, why is it always the women doing it? So the way I answered her question is, okay, I agree with you that women always have to do it. But what is it you want to do? Would you rather your marriage break up, or would you rather try and sort it out? So sometimes I think because men don't know how to deal with emotion sometimes, it is then upon the women. I think it becomes normal thing upon the women, because we are more emotional. We can do so many things together at one go, and you almost feel that, okay, I want to sort the marriage out. I want to sort the family out. My children are going to get affected. Men are emotional, but I think they sometimes maybe they don't know how to voice their emotions out, and so they shut out things, I think. I could be wrong here, so let me not be judged on what I'm saying. But I have a feeling, but I think even men are emotional. Of course they are, and they feel it, but sometimes it is upon the women. It's been left upon the women. But even men try. I think even men try. Some of the marriages I hear, men have really tried hard, and the woman's the one who's not really tried. So you have that scenario as well.
I suppose it depends on who is the most sensitive one, who is more
Yes.
emotionally mature, or who is,
Yes.
and yeah, you see it as a feminine quality more. So I suppose that's why it comes on female. But you said it rightly, because I have seen so many men who are very sensitive, and I see that they have put 150%, but it's not reaching there. And how I see a relationship, and I had this discussion a few years back with my mom. And I see divorce is not a problem. I see two people who are here to be happy, to be joyful. And, when you get married, whether it's very at young age or whether it's later age, there are two people who are growing. So either you grow together or you grow
Yeah.
apart.
Apart. Yes. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and I see life as simple as that. So if you're growing together, both of you, little compromise from here to there, and
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
right, you can grow old, you can do everything. But if you're growing apart, maybe like one person is going on a spiritual path and one person is very logical and practical and very physically focused there. Of course, their views are going to differ. Of course, there are
It's
going to be a tension or stress. So why is that, why can't we look at that two people want to be happy rather than staying in an unhappy marriage? And like you said, that it affects kids. you're staying in a toxic relationship. You think you're doing it for kids, but it actually impacts kids more than actually if you both are happy, whether you're separate,
No,
isn't it?
I totally agree with you. And I am guilty of that in a way as well, because for the last 2 years, when everybody else could see that I need to get out of it, I almost felt I was being there for the kids, that the kids needed their dad.
Hmm.
But I later realized that not only is it having an emotional and mental impact on me, but it's having that emotional and mental impact on the kids as well. And then once we were out of there, I saw the change in my kids and how they started blossoming a bit, and you think, oh my God, why did I not do this sooner? Because you're scared, you're fearful of the isolation, you feel lonely, and you think, can I live alone? Because when you go into a marriage, you put all your eggs into that one basket, don't you? And you never think, I'm ever going to get divorced. You want to be married for life, and everything's just there. You're in a team, and all of a sudden you find yourself single, and you
Yeah.
think, oh my God, can I manage alone? Can I live alone? Can I do things alone with my child? It's the loneliness, it's the uncomfortable zone you're going into, and you think, maybe I can't manage this.
Yeah, it's the unknown, isn't it? Unknown is
Unknown.
scary.
Yes.
And change is always difficult. But I'm glad you mentioned that, because I feel, when two people, they are not getting along, their energies are clashing with each other. Even if you know it, like you said, you thought about that, it's not working, it's not working. So your energy is like very fragmented. It's not fully there. So that's going to
No.
have an impact on children. Although we all try our best, and sometimes
Yeah.
things don't work out. And that's why, guys, if you're going through something, there is nothing wrong with you or the other person. It might be you
No.
grown apart, as simple as that. And if you want support, that's where you can get support. We are sharing all these people. I have some amazing experts. I'm sharing 8 of them on Chit-Chat and Chai with Sangeeta. So do come, do connect, do ask Varsha a question. I will leave her contact details there as well, in the details of the video. So do connect. And if you want, if you connect with my energy, connect with me. I'm a life coach, Reiki healer. And it's about, I have seen you blossoming after you have gone through that process yourself as well. And we'll touch upon that. There is different aspect of it as well, how and when. And I'm sure you're going to guide lots of people. But one thing I love when I see your videos, or when I see you doing well, and I think, wow, there's so much power in this woman, so much love, and you're sharing that with the world. So I thank you for doing that.
No.
And I thank you.
Thank you for inviting me for this.
No, of
Yeah.
course, it's important for all of us to support each other, and that's the thing. So yeah, so now it's a little bit of fun time. Are you ready for
Let's
that?
go, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go party.
Absolutely. All right. So these are rapid fire questions, 3-1. So I want you to know, what would be the hardest for you to go without for 1 week? Phone, tea, or TV?
Oh, I think it will be the phone at the moment.
I need to change that, because everybody's saying phone.
You're going to get phone. Initially, it would have been tea
Yeah.
3-4 years ago, but now it's the phone, definitely.
Amazing. I think tea is the one for me as well, which is very difficult. Phone I
Yeah.
can do without. If I'm on holiday, I'll say, all right, I can switch off and
Yeah.
but
On holiday, yes.
our life is so dependent on that, isn't it? In
Yeah.
Okay. One thing that you absolutely love about yourself.
Oh my God. You put me on the spot there. I just think I'm very compassionate and empathetic. So that helps me with what I'm doing. And all my clients tell me that, so I think that must be something that it comes across to them as well.
So do you love that?
I love that about me, the empathetic side towards, maybe it's because of what I've gone through in my journey, so yeah.
Good. Okay.
And my confidence, I can always say my confidence,
Absolutely.
Yes.
Why I put that question? Because so often, especially as people who have gone through difficulties, I mean, everybody goes through their challenges. But when you ask people what's wrong with you, we can easily put 10 things. I need to improve that, I need to do this. When you ask people what you love about yourself, I need to think about that. It doesn't actually, isn't it? Although there'll be
That was a good one. Yeah, good one. Good one.
Okay. One thing that you will change from your past.
Wow. When people ask me, would you ever change your past about your first marriage or your second marriage? I always say no, right? But maybe sometimes I feel that if I was to change anything in my life, it would be my first marriage. I would
Okay.
never have got married. That first marriage was a huge mistake.
Mm.
Not my second marriage. I absolutely loved him. He loved me. Alcohol took over. My first marriage, I'll change it right now.
Yeah.
Give me a
Cool.
change and I'll change it.
Considered done.
Yeah.
That's wonderful, wonderful. So thank you again, Varsha, for being here. And of course, we'll carry on with the conversation. We'll talk about dating. We'll talk about going through the whole process. But as I love that your focus is always, first focus is to help people to see if they can still work out things. Because sometimes
Yes.
you need somebody who has gone through that process, sharing that with very honesty, saying, okay,
Yes.
these are the things that you have to consider. These are the things that are difficult, but you're there to support, to talk honestly with the people who are going through it. But don't stop yourself because of the stigma, guys. If you're going through
No.
a time, ask somebody, process it, do a lot of thinking. But as you said, Varsha said that take me time out as well. Just get yourself out, go for a walk, go for meditation, yoga, because otherwise this negativity takes over, and you won't recognize yourself as well, because sometimes we think we are such a happy, joyful people, and then one worry or one stress that just takes over our life. So I really hope that you will subscribe, like, and share our videos as well, and comment. We would love your comment. You ask any questions and Varsha will share her answer, and whatever best we can do as well, we'll reach out to you. But remember, if life is going up and down, life is all about sometimes challenge and coming out of it, growing, because as I always say, life is about learning, integrating, flowing, and expanding. So make sure whatever you're doing, you learn, you integrate the lessons you learn, and you flow with your emotions, and you expand, because that's what life is very beautiful. So till next time, make sure you keep smiling. Take care. Bye, Varsha.
Thank you. Bye-bye.